Hi, my name is Lola Bunny.
Lola? Hello. My name is Bugs. You want to play a little one-on-one, doll?
Doll? Don't ever call me doll.
Lola Bunny is the fierce and feisty tune with a strong will and a no-nonsense attitude. First appearing in 1996's Space Jam, Lola is currently the newest character to be introduced to the core cast of Looney Tunes characters, having become a fan favourite almost immediately. Originally depicted as a sexy and seductive femme fatale, Lola's appearance and personality have undergone major changes over the years. In 2021, with the release of Space Jam: A New Legacy, Lola celebrates 25 years, and to help her, I will trace her entire evolution from 1996 to now. To do so, we will look at her entire history, touching on design and personality changes over a near 3 decades of films, series, and shorts. In this edition of Cartoon Evolution. In 1996, a new generation was introduced to Warner Bros. Looney Tunes by way of their first original theatrical film, Space Jam, a collision of the iconic cartoon characters with the biggest pop culture icon of the time, NBA superstar Michael Jordan. Additionally, the movie introduced us to the first original tune since the golden age of animation, Lola Bunny. However, what some may not realise is that Lola was predated by another female rabbit, who'd become fairly well known in Looney media throughout the previous 3 decades. Despite appearing in over 160 cartoons, Bugs Bunny was never depicted in a romantic relationship. Of course, there were numerous appearances of female rabbits who he swooned over for the sake of a gag, but for the most part, sex and sexuality were left out of the picture, unless of course he was fooling his villains into lusting for him and thus weakening them by dressing in drag. Bugs appeared in his final cartoon in 1964, with the Warner Cartoon Studio having closed the year prior. As such, his appearances over the next few decades were mostly limited to television series and specials, though in the early 1950s he also became the star of his own comic book series. It was here that Bugs' first true love interest spawned. In 1953's special issue, Bugs Bunny's Album, a character named Honey Bunny first appeared. Here she was a simple white rabbit and a famous African explorer. At first, Honey was not a love interest but Bugs' cousin. Disappearing from pages for more than a decade, Honey re-emerged in a new iteration in Bugs Bunny comic issue 108 in November of 1966. Created by Robert McKimson, the Looney Tunes veteran who more than 20 years earlier had designed Bugs' most definitive look. Soon becoming a regular staple of Bugs' Gold Key comics between the late 60s and early 80s, in Honey's earliest appearances, she was given long, floppy ears that hung downward with a small tuft of hair between them and a tan or sometimes yellow coat. She was most often depicted as Bugs' romantic partner, though sometimes just as a friend, and at others, an adversary. The character is described by Honey Bunny World, a surprisingly recent fan site dedicated to her, as the sanest member of the Looney Tunes family, noting her sensible nature provided perfect counterbalance for the mischievous personality of Bugs. Over the years, Honey's look changed a few times. First, her coat transformed to a Bugs grey, and a bow was added where her hair tuft once was. Later, she was given a taller, slimmer, more Bugs-like figure with upwards pointed ears and a full head of hair. Eventually, Honey essentially took on Bugs' exact design with added feminine features, such as long eyelashes, shaded eyelids, and female clothing. From the late 80s, this became her most recognisable design. Of course, by the time Honey Bunny was in the picture, Bugs was out of cartoons for quite a few years, meaning that she just missed out on being in any of them, despite many confusing her as the nameless female rabbit in 1978 TV special Bugs Bunny's Thanksgiving Diet. Regardless, she was quickly embraced as a core member of the Looney Tunes in merchandising and marketing. She starred in numerous live shows at American theme parks, a number of late 80s video games, and at least 2 Mexican cool Kool-Aid commercials, the only time she ever appeared in animation. The character was so embraced, she even appeared in a 1981 character chart drawn by Friz Freling's unit, and a series of popular art prints by legendary Warner animators such as Freeling and Chuck Jones. Honey Bunny's usage continued regularly into the 1990s, and when the Space Jam movie called for a female character to draw in female audiences, filmmakers initially decided to feature her in her first major appearance. However, after numerous production concepts had been drawn, it was decided that her visual similarity to Bugs would simply be too confusing for audiences. One animation supervisor wrote that she looked like Bugs in drag. Artists began designing a new character, with names like Daisy Lou, Bunny Bunny, and Lola Rabbit considered over time, and early concepts show how Honey's visual design was moved away from Bugs's while still keeping within his universe. Artist Dan Haskett took particular inspiration from Freeling's Girl Rabbit in the 1948 cartoon Hair Splitter, suggesting that other artists should make Bugs's cheek area and ears smaller, take off the stray hairs on his head, and add a waist, shoulders, lipstick lips, and, of course, long eyelashes. Haskett also made some additional adjustments of his own, making her teeth smaller, reducing her cheeks even further, and using Chuck Jones's traditional eyes for more expression. He additionally recommended feminizing Bugs's pear-shaped body, with the addition of breasts and a shapelier figure. The character went through many animators with various iterations, but most stuck to Haskett's guidelines. Some versions appeared incredibly sexualized, and one artist made note to suggest anatomy but don't overdo it, and to make her seductive but don't get creepy. As a result, she took on a younger, cuter, more athletic appearance. A majority of designs featured her in short shorts or crop tops, while others even depicted her with Honey Bunny's bow. Once the animation department and the studio signed off on this design, which took 4 months of hard work, a third party halted them in their tracks. McDonald's, who'd been given the fast food contract to distribute Space Jam merchandise, refused to sell toys of the character, feeling that she looked too young to be in a romantic relationship with Bugs, likening her image to a teenage girl. Bowing to pressure, it was back to the drawing board. In order to make the character a little more appropriate, artists aimed to make her a little older and a little more sophisticated, aiming to lose about 35% of the Babs Bunny look, clearly aware that the youthful appearance was reminiscent of the pre-teen bunny from the popular Tiny Toon Adventures series, also inspired by Bugs. Artists additionally aimed to make her, quote, sexy looking, resulting in some incredibly over-sexualized designs, turning back on earlier notes to not overdo it. One model sheet saw her in Baywatch action poses, placing her in promiscuous positions inspired by the TV series, which was enormously popular mainly because of its sexy characters. And other designs went way overboard, over-exaggerating her female anatomy, and in some cases, stopping just short of showing bare breasts. One piece that was rejected by the animation department was given notes to reduce and redraw the upper body. After some tweaking, however, artists finally landed on a design that all parties were happy with, and Lola Bunny was finally born. Artists put together a guide to help distinguish the new character from Bugs, additionally noting her to have hair, soft and floppy ears that were to be treated as hair, eye highlights, smaller and daintier hands and feet, and a soft powder puff tail instead of a teardrop. She was also designed with more humanistic anatomy than him. Despite every effort to make her less sexualized, it's clear that Lola was still devised mostly from the male gaze. In Space Jam, she's introduced as the object of Bugs' affection. In some respect, her sole reason for existence is as a piece of eye candy, not only for Bugs, but for the entire male cast. Most of the time that she's on screen, she's placed in promiscuous situations or otherwise objectified. Animation director Tony Savone explained that in trying to make Lola a tomboy, she appeared too masculine, and her feminine attributes had to be emphasized. However, to counteract this sexualization, Lola was made strong, independent, and resourceful, relying on only herself to get the job done and fighting back against any derogative behavior. One artist said of her, "She may be cute and sweet, but don't forget she takes no prisoners during the game." In fact, throughout the film, Lola is seen as the best basketball player on the Tune squad next to MJ. Author and historian Kevin S. Sandler has referred to her as a Hawksian woman, a strong, tough-talking archetype popularized by classic film director Howard Hawks, seen as the femme fatale in many film noirs. Taking on the role was seasoned voice actor Kath Soucie. Following Lola's debut in Space Jam, Honey Bunny faded into obscurity as her role in marketing was quickly taken over. Strangely, a secondary Lola design based on older, more Bugs-like concepts emerged exclusively within merchandising, and due to the prevalence of her usage, became her most recognizable. Minor differences included different sized foot pads, a teardrop tail, different colored hair, and a different secondary color, white in promotional, while cream in the film. With Lola's jettison into the Looney lexicon, it didn't take long for her to appear in DC's Looney Tunes comics, debuting in the series as of the January 2000 issue. While initially included as a supporting character, her role soon expanded as she was given solo stories that made strides in developing her a strong personality. While retaining her no-nonsense attitude, she was also made quirky, lively, and fun. Taking inspiration from Bugs, she was also made highly resourceful, smart and sassy, and self-referential. Soon enough, Lola began to appear in other animated productions, cameoing in 2000's direct-to-video movie Tweety's High-Flying Adventure as a demure news anchor with her sultry image toned down, and in a 2005 webtoon titled Dating Do's and Don'ts, a parody of 1950s instructional videos in which Bugs gives a series of bizarre dating tips with hilarious consequences, where she's seen in traditional 50s fashion. Lola also appeared in a couple of alternate iterations during this time. In 2001 to 2007's Baby Looney Tunes, Baby Lola appeared as a regular cast member, presented with her traditional tomboyish traits and often put in the role of team leader with great independence. She was even occasionally seen as a lover of basketball, a great throwback to Space Jam. In a strange design twist, she was given a yellow coat and a big purple bow, somewhat resembling the late Honey Bunny. Additionally, 2005 to 2007's Lunatics Unleashed starred Lola's futuristic descendant, Lexi Bunny, a pink rabbit with blonde hair. A fierce and energetic warrior, Lexi is one of the leaders of the Lunatics team, alongside her love interest, Ace Bunny, Bugs' descendant. Just like her ancestor, Lexi is sultry and seductive, with great wit, charm, and a no-nonsense attitude. She's also incredibly athletic and was once a budding cheerleader. In 2011 to 2014's The Looney Tunes show, Lola was given an enormous overhaul. Personality-wise, well, Lola was actually given one beyond being just a sexual object. Depicted as eccentric, kooky, hyperactive, and absolutely nutty, Lola often found herself off on zany adventures with Daffy or obsessing over Bugs, now depicted as her boyfriend. With these elements, Lola became an integral, prominent, and natural part of the Looney family, truly fitting in without seeming like an outlier. Design-wise, Lola, like the other tunes, was given a new look, inspired by classic Chuck Jones characters, with exaggerated features such as huge eyes, large teeth, and a disproportionate head. She was also heavily desexualized, with her chest and waist scaled down and her clothing made more modest, usually wearing dresses instead of short shorts and crop tops. In this series, Lola was voiced by comedienne Kristen Wiig. This version also appeared in 2015 direct-to-video spin-off movie Looney Tunes Rabbit's Run, in which her and Bugs are seen as FBI fugitives after inventing an invisibility perfume. It was the first project to feature her in a starring role. In 2015 to 2020's New Looney Tunes, Lola only made 3 appearances throughout the series' 156-episode run, not appearing until a 2018 Game of Thrones parody taking the role of Daenerys. She was again voiced by Kath Soucie. While many of the other tunes were returned to their classic 30s designs and personalities, Lola mostly took cue from her Looney Tunes show iteration, though in a cruder, more stylized visual design. Most recently, Lola has made a grand return alongside the other tunes in 2021's Space Jam: A New Legacy, where she's seen in two different animation styles, a traditional design and a CG design, the first time she's appeared in 3D animation outside of video games. While she's depicted with her original strong-willed personality, visually she's closer to the more recent iterations, with toned-down sexual allure and seen wearing a more reserved uniform. Of course, internet fanboys, mostly those who knew nothing of her more recent appearances, caused a massive outcry when the new, but not really new, design first debuted in marketing, with many crying, "Cancel culture!" Others, such as pro golfer Paige Spiranak, remarked that it took away all of her femininity and insinuated that women can't be sexy and also strong. Responding to the controversy, director Malcolm D. Lee said he felt that it was important to reflect the authenticity of strong, capable female characters without the need for sexualization. In the movie, Lola is seen as stronger than ever, having been trained by Wonder Woman and the Amazonians before rejoining the Tunes and LeBron James for their latest battle to save mankind. Again, she's one of the most talented members of the team, playing an integral role on the court. Once more, she was given a new voice performed by the multi-talented icon Zendaya. Next up, Lola will be seen in the educational preschool program Bugs Bunny Builders, set for HBO Max and Cartoon Network in the fall of 2021. The show sees Bugs and Lola managing an inept crew of builders, working together to pull off loony construction jobs. Here, Lola will again be seen in a youthful design, in a style that echoes the current HBO Max Looney Tunes cartoon series, which she has yet to make an appearance in. Regardless, it's fantastic to see Lola continuing as a core Looney Tune, more prominent in and more important to the lineup than ever. It's no wonder why this strong-willed, no-nonsense bunny has gone on to become a fan favourite, and I can't wait to see where she is taken next. And at that, I'm throwing it over to you. I want to know, what is your favourite Lola Bunny appearance and design? Fire away down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.